Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if I could get a motion on the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Keith, would you like to provide an update on the finances?
The financials that are in the package are as of June 30th. We don't have the completed financials as of July. I'm still waiting on one bank statement from a broker. But as of June, we had $15,378,000 in total cash investments, of which $9,874,000 was FAD related. On the second page, which is the statement of revenues and expenditures, I've had a couple of questions that have come in over the last couple of months regarding one of the line items on here. And it's the third item down. It's the change in market value investments. It's a large negative number there, $108,000 negative balance. And what that is we're required under accounting rules to record our investments at market value. So that loss represents what we would, if we were to sell our investment portfolio as of June 30th, we would receive $108,000 less than what we purchased them for. Now, as we get closer to those investments maturing, the number will go down because we will always receive the full par value of the investment at maturity. And since we have no real intention of selling the investments, it's just a paper loss. That number will gradually go back to zero. Any other questions?
All right, thank you, Keith. Linda, you want to do
Sure.
reporting and compliance?
Sure, yes. So we are up to date with all of our filing dates. And more recently, we have on the second sheet here, more people have completed their board member training. So we just have one person left to do that from Cortland, and they are scheduled to do the training. And then we will be pretty much in full compliance. With North Castle, every year they leave some items undone. So, but I do send reminders in the hopes that maybe he will complete it. But for the most part, we are up to date on everything.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Keith, project updates?
Okay, so we are we're going out for construction on about 7 new projects coming this fall, in addition to 4 catch basin insert projects, which are in final stages of review and installation agreements. So it's shaping up to be a busy end of the summer and fall, and closing out the year with a big kilogram total and expenditures. Usually this time of year, we'd be asking everybody for new projects towards the work plan. But while we're not adding new projects currently, we still want you guys to keep track of any new items that pop up within the municipalities, any new opportunities that are going to come out to us. Because as we know, eventually we will need to keep moving forward into future years. And all it's going to do is help us to have a larger catalog of projects to continue to select from. We are currently sitting at about 670 kilograms with the addition of these new projects for the the summer and the fall, we should shoot right up into the mid 700s rather quickly. Since we last met, we awarded a large group of bioinfiltration projects, which essentially are bioretention with lower maintenance costs in a smaller footprint. A few in Lewisboro and others scattered through watershed that we think will be a great opportunity to attack the kilogram totals that we need. Most recently, we finished one in Scalpino Park in the town of Southeast that we're pretty excited about. Came out great, and likely continue working with that manufacturer and moving forward with those types of projects as we look ahead. Excuse me. And that's it. If there's any specific project questions, happy to answer anything that anybody has.
So I just would like to add in there, so everybody's aware, Keith has been contacted by New York State Department of Transportation. I'm sorry, Kevin. And Kevin's been working with the DOT to come up with a plan to perhaps incorporate some DOT projects into the organization. And we're still trying to work through the details, whether they're going to be part of the organization or we're going to, just be a contractor for them. But that's an exciting part of the program where we're looking to expand a little bit. So anything you want to add? Kevin?
It's just going to be a matter of how we can help them, if we can help them. Clearly with our current funding, it's not something that we can take on, but they're going to sit down and likely speak with council and Supervisor Williams and myself, and we'll figure out a roadmap to see how it could work. I think there's a lot of great opportunities out there because there's a lot of projects that we internally did not proceed with because maybe they landed on DOT property. So I think we have a little bit of a backlog of projects that we could turn to from the last 10 years that could be successful and it can help out the municipalities in addition to hitting that phosphorus story for the DOT. So it'd be a great step forward in having a beneficial relationship with another state agency.
Yes, I agree. I also would like to point out, everybody take note that New York State Department of Transportation is, kind of interested in doing this because they have a phosphorus reduction number and they're having great difficulty in achieving that phosphorus reduction number. So the fact that we're so far ahead, I think speaks volumes to the organization and everybody's participation in it. All right, Keith, Kevin, you want to talk about O&M discussion?
Sure. So as always, we got to ask that you guys try to get any existing O&M documents that you have, anything you've already done, start sending them in to us as soon as possible so we can catalog them. Corey and I are going to be spending the rest of the summer visiting a lot of your projects and checking in on the state of a few of them. Many of these are easy cleanups. Some of them we think might need a little extra attention based off of previous O&M reports that have come in. So expect to hear from us on a few of these, asking you to get out there and we'll give a detailed write-up of what we think needs to get done as we move forward with all of them. Generally speaking, as I said, it always helps us if you guys do have any documents to get them in as soon as possible so we can start cataloging. And otherwise, continue hitting these projects hard. And, unfortunately, I guess, since we haven't had any rain in the last 3 months, I can't imagine many of the retrofits are being inundated with much sediment. But, it will come eventually. So we've got to make sure to be on top.
Any questions? All right, other business. Anybody wish to bring up anything at this time?
Yeah, really quick. Keith and I have been talking about the bank that we use right now. It's M&T. We're looking at Putnam County Savings Bank, possibly. They are a commercial bank now. I think Christine had an issue with that before. they're offering us an interest rate of 1.65%, which on everything. That's what they told us, along with all the other banking stuff that we wanted. We had looked at. We've been on M&T for a while. I think Joanne had some issues with some of the online stuff. Keith did too. They fixed that, but the interest rate is pretty small. So I just reached out to them and asked them what they could do for us in terms of interest now that the rates are up. I doubt if it's 1.65, which is for us $250,000, somewhere around that in interest in a year, because we have about 18 million, as you heard. I think it's 232,000. I can't remember the exact number. It's over 200 grand. We can't pass that up. So at any rate, Keith and I are working through that. We'll get back to everybody at the next meeting on specifics, but we may end up moving. Nobody will see any difference. It'll be a little more work for Keith maybe, but that's about it. And we may move part of it, like, the large sums. They're even offering us the money on the collateralized, money that we have in the bank.
All right. Thank you,
was it.
Warren. Anyone else have any other business? Any questions or things they would like to bring up? Well, I would just like to say I appreciate everybody.
Status of the MS4, the revised MS4 permit.
I'm sorry, what?
What's the status of the revised MS4 permit? There was a meeting a couple of months back. There's
Yeah,
gonna be some
so-
outreach to the DEC.
It is still with the DEC. They're still working on the permit. I am checking in, on their website where it's going to get posted every week, and we anxiously waiting for it. But as of now, there's no new information.
Is
Amazing.
there any thought process to share in some efforts in redoing all the town's MS4 reports, like a report shell, et cetera? Because there's a lot of effort that has to be undertaken to update each individual municipality's compliance with those reports.
Well, we have, as a corporation, we have been looking at various components of the MS4 program. I know we've had some conversations recently about coordinating, some of the mapping requirements. I haven't checked in to see where we ended up, so I apologize for that. A lot of us have individual programs tailored to our highway departments and everything else, so I don't know how successful coordination of the overall reporting requirements. And honestly, we've got to wait till we see what the permit is going to, the final version of the permit and what they're going to be requiring.
They didn't give
So-
any time frame as to when that's going to be released.
No, they have not. I think, it's like 2017, the comments that came in were very significant and substantial, and, it's going to take them a while to figure out how to address it. Kind of caught in the middle between competing interests on this.
Understood. Well, I appreciate the update. Thank you.
Just a quick question on the bank accounts that I just mentioned before. I know for the town, we have to pass a resolution making something a repository for us. We usually do that at the beginning of the year. Do we have to do anything special here, Christine?
Yes, you have an investment policy, and I'm pretty sure I can look at our financial policy that was adopted that incorporates that, but you should authorize the banks that you're using. You, the board, should authorize the banks that you're using. So yeah, you're going to want to identify that as an authorized depository.
Okay. Is that something that we can do just via a simple resolution to
Mhm.
amending it, or do we have to go back and redo the entire financial policy?
No, it's a resolution, because the policy would say, I'll have to look at your policy, but the policy would say these are the types of things you're authorized to invest in, right? In compliance with
Well, that's not going to change because we're not investing any.
Right. So, right, but I mean, so as long as the bank meets the standards for the type of
Okay.
institution you're allowed to invest in, right, then the particular bank is something that you as a board should select, right?
Okay.
So would it be appropriate for someone to make a motion right now to add a particular bank as an investment bank subject
The
to?
only reason again, the reason we would do that, Rich, and I apologize stepping on you there, but the reason we would do that is so that we can close the thing out before the next meeting. We move money around bank accounts all the time now. We were over at JPMC and MT. We were at multiple banks, and we've moved stuff around without really coming back to the board. But it would be nice if we could close this out before the next meeting. So that's why I think you were suggesting, Rich, that we be allowed to do that.
Listen, this is, I think based on the interest rate and the value of that interest rate, it's a very good move for us, at least for some of the funds. So that's why I'd like to see it done sooner rather than later. And that's why I'm suggesting, rather than a formal resolution being prepared and us having to wait 3 months, that, we do it by motion right now with conditions. You okay with that, Christine?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, it's what's important is that the board identify the banks that you're authorizing deposits with.
So we just want to add this one into our stable. of
As
banks.
an authorized depository, yes, I think that would
So
be.
it would be Putnam County Savings Bank. And
They may well need another, formal resolution from you, because banks often do, but, to move the process forward, you can authorize that bank.
Okay.
Yes, they do need a board resolution.
So if you want, I'll make a motion to authorize M&T Bank as depositor as an
No,
addition.
it's Putnam County Savings.
Oh, Putnam County Savings.
M&T Bank's already a depository.
I got it. Okay. In addition to M&T Bank. Okay. So
Is it now Putnam County Bank?
Nope, they're still Putnam County Savings Bank, but they are, I pulled their charter and they are a commercial bank.
Yeah, it's funny, most of them changed their name, okay.
Yeah. They
Oh,
want to
okay.
keep that savings bank name in there to let people know they're small.
Uh-huh, got it.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else uses them, but we have in the past in town here. They're one of the ones that we use, and they've been very good with us. In the past, when we were looking for bands and stuff like that, we use them quite often.
we use them I use them for the transit system here in Putnam uses them as well.
Okay. So again, as I was saying before, we kind of have a motion on the floor. I don't know if you finished it, Vinny. I think you probably
It's
did.
fine. Yeah, I corrected it, so it's Putnam.
Yeah, I'll second.
Christine, and do you find the motion adequate?
Rich, we'll have to go back. My guess is that the bank's gonna want a more formal resolution, but, we can see.
Maybe.
Yeah, usually they have a
If they're
particular
holding us
form they
up,
want you to
that's
adopt.
one thing, but what I'd like to be able to do is to move the money if it makes sense. And if we decide, when I say we, myself, Keith, if I can come back to you, Rich, I can get I'll let the board know what we're doing, but I'd like a resolution that would allow us to do that rather than waiting another month or whenever we have the next meeting.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm trying to get you, Warren.
I understand. So Christine, what would we need? Is Vinny's okay?
So I'm just looking
Yeah,
at,
ESCB?
so bank accounts, FDIC insured banks approved by the executive committee with a customer service bank located in, a branch located in watershed towns. I'm just reading your financial policy. I was just looking for this reference. So actually the executive committee can do an approval for your bank accounts.
Okay.
So
All
if
right.
that helps you with a little more flexibility, the board certainly can authorize by motion that you're going to move in that direction. And then if we need a formal resolution, the committee could do that if that helps you.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed?
And I in looking back, we were collateralized at JPMC. We had some there. I put some there and some at M&T, and I think we moved that without asking everybody a while ago. But thank you.
Well, thanks for mentioning that.
That was years ago. So
All right, any other business? All right, well, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the
Second.
motion.
All in favor, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Good night.
Thank you.
Wonderful summer, everybody.
Good
What's
day,
left of it.
Christine, what do you want to do? You want to call?
Sure, let's do
All right.
that.